Hello everyone, happy Thursday. I hope you're amazing. I want to jump on today and I want to talk about how the stories that we tell ourselves, or the stories that we have in our minds about our lives and who we are, how they create our reality, and what to do when the story that's coming up for you is filled with negativity or fear. And this comes up for me because at the moment it has just started to snow here in Japan. Now, I don't know if you've been following me for a while, but the last 2 years living here in Japan, working to run a hotel, a restaurant, a cafe, have been filled with numerous challenges and difficulties, and I've struggled through them for the last few years, and it's only been this year that I have had a massive awakening and learning from all that I've been going through. But what I have realized is that while that's all been great for me in the summer and the spring and the autumn, now is the biggest time for me to be really aware of my triggers and my stories, because this is the time of year that has always reflected the challenges that I've experienced. So what's coming up for me is I'm seeing the snow out the window, and what I'm sensing and experiencing is this wave of feeling and emotion coming up in me as I look at the snow, and I am then having this reel in my head of it's almost flashes of stories and incidences and things that went on in the last 2 years that are etched in my memory, connected to painful memories, very challenging times, and a lot of just craziness that went on. And I can't explain all the stuff, and maybe my mind overreacted in those moments, but whatever, it's there. And what's happening for me is that this beautiful mind that I have is trying to protect me. And we all have this happen in our lives, and this is why we have these stories, and it's why we have memory, and then it has this feeling that comes with it. When we experience things in our life that are challenging or hard or that harm us, brain makes a memory of that and is like, okay, that one could kill us. Now, this is a function of our mind, of our brains, that serves us very well in a survival situation. So in the past, when we were hunter-gatherers, we needed to know that, an animal with very sharp teeth could kill us. So going to that part of the forest or whatever, or hearing this certain rustling of the leaves might mean that there's a deadly animal in the bushes potentially going to attack us and kill us. We want to know that when we hear that sound or see something in particular, like poop on the ground, that could be a sign that we could die. So the brain wants you to have that memory, have that feeling of fear, so that you can run for the hills. Hi, Maddie. But the problem is that in our life these days, there's nothing out there that's going to kill us. It's just our life. So we have this beautiful brain that wants to protect us, and this mind that wants to, recall things and say, okay, remember last time you experienced that was painful, it hurt, we might want to avoid that. But what it's doing for me right now is going, oh, snow, oh shit, all this shit has happened to you in the past when you have, been in this time of the year here in Japan. What I want to get to is that while those past experiences have been really hard and have been, not things I want to experience again, I have a moment of choice right now as these, and it feels like a wave of emotion, and I can feel it sitting here, and throughout the day as I look out the window, I feel it here. I have a choice, and a powerful choice that we all have when our mind brings up this story about how something is when something happens. We have the choice to engage, right? We have the choice to get involved with that, and we have the choice to go, oh yeah, this means that challenge, this means stress, this means blah, and I can easily allow that emotion that's coming up in me to literally come up, get into my mind, they can mingle, and then I can live my current reality through the lens of that story, right? Because what's to say it's not going to be the same? My mind's telling me that in this instant, but that's a choice, because I don't necessarily need that story to inform my current reality. So first things first, if I allow this feeling and these thoughts of fear and stress, I'm feeling them now building up in my body, just talking about them, I can choose to go, oh yeah, fuck, snow. Excuse my language. It's freak out. And then what I then do is my mind starts to race. I have the memories all the time, day in, day out. My blood pressure goes up, adrenaline rises in my body, cortisol levels go up, and I start to live each of these wintry days through this lens of the memories of the past. And I add stress to my experience right now, even though nothing's going on other than it's snowing. So my choice is to not get involved in that. My choice is to witness the emotion come up. Be like, okay, I see that. In the past, it has been really, really hard. But in the present moment, if I get really present and I can witness the emotion, I can witness the thoughts and not get involved in them, I get to stand here and go, okay, I see that. That was the past. Thank you for the reminder, mind. I really, really appreciate you wanting to protect me. But in this moment, I'm okay. So what I want to talk about is how can we then, what are some steps we can take when this story comes up? And obviously it can be quite a lot of emotion, and there's a lot of fear that comes up sometimes with these negative stories and when things in the past have been hard and we're faced with a similar situation. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the same. So it'll be similar if we choose to engage, but we want to choose not to engage, because if we get present and we're grounded in the actual truth of the reality right now, I'm fine. There's nothing out there that's going to kill me. It's just snow. It's not the stress. I can choose to create it, or I can choose to be present for what is, and there's no stress around me right now. So when the stories arise, that's the most important thing, is to come back to presence, is to be in a state of awareness where we can witness, I'm having these fear-based thoughts. I'm having these feelings that come along with the fear-based thoughts, and just be like, okay, I see that. And like I said before, thank you, mind, for reminding me of that time that was challenging. Right now, I'm okay. Come back to the present moment, feel your body, feel the emotion come up, and take some really deep breaths, because that's going to turn off that stress response in your body. Really big belly breaths has a physiological effect on your stress state. So you can start to switch off stress and that impending doom and calm yourself down and come back to presence by deep breaths, and also being really, really aware of doing those breaths. So in those moments, connect back to the moment and look around you, am I actually okay? That's just a memory in the past, but does this apply to my experience right now? No, because if I'm experiencing life right now, I'm experiencing now, not the past. We can put the past here with us and experience now through the past, but we don't need to do that, because the past is an event. It's a historical event. It's not happening now. So thanks for the reminder, mind. I'm going to leave the past in the past. What is actually happening right now? Is that true for me right now? No, it's not. Okay, so coming back to presence, what is real right now? And then if this continues, okay, great, that was challenging times, they were hard. What have I learned from all of that since that last time? Now, if I was to answer that question, this year I have learned a shitload. And the really, really powerful part of what I've learned is that the power to not experience that is to stay present. So I'm coming back to that presence piece again. So that's one of the things I've learned. How have I grown? How have I changed? How are things actually different right now? And by doing this little bit of a self-inquiry, we can appease the mind and say, listen, mind, thank you for the alarm, but this is what I know now. This is how I can implement this now. This is how I've changed. This is how the outside circumstances have changed. And this is another proof for you. We're okay. We don't need to freak out. We don't need to bring the past to our present moment and experience it now, because we're okay. But thank you. So even as I say that myself, I start to hear my own energy of that emotion start to appease, because I know that I have the tools to cope with the things now that I didn't have before. I'm going to be okay. And I'm going to come back to presence when I start to freak out. And then in these moments when the past wants to come up and be part of your present experience, another powerful thing I've learnt this year is just to take one day at a time, right? I just had a coaching call with a client, and we were talking about this exact thing. Our modern world tells us you want all these things and you've got to have them now. That's a stressful way to try and live our lives. We only have this moment to experience our lives. And really this moment and this moment to actually create our future. So know what you want in the future, but come back and just take a day at a time. Like, this has been a powerful shift for me to just be present for my day, be present for my conversations, be present for the people in my life, one day at a time, because that's all we have, and nighttime comes and we get to reset and start again, like, don't worry so much about the future that you're not experiencing this moment. You only have today. If you can't handle what moment to moment, just go back to like a day at a time, and then at the end of the day, what have I learnt from today? What could I do better tomorrow? How would I like things to be different tomorrow? How can I show up differently? Like, just take a day at a time and like micromanage your experience of your life, right? So taking a day at a time. And the last thing is just staying focused, and it comes back to the present piece, on what is the truth and what is actually happening right now. It's a practice to really learn to witness our thoughts, and witness our emotions, and then to also not fuse with them. My best friend Melly talks about this in her retreats with cognitive fusion, when we're like our experience of our life is so infused with our thoughts that we can't tell the difference. But we have cognitive diffusion is when we are more present. We can see that there's a thought, and I can engage with that thought, and I can apply that thought, and I can experience my life through that thought. But this is just a thought, it's not real. So take away the thought, and what's real? It's the present moment. It's the truth of your life. And then get curious about that present moment. Like, what is here? Look around, appreciate it. Just get a sense of what is true right now. Am I in pain? Am I in danger? Is there anything to fear? No, it's just snow. It's okay, Kato. It's just snow. So I hope that those little steps are helpful for you when you have a negative belief come up, a negative story come up, fear, because you've been triggered by something outside of your life that your mind just wants to remind you. Remember when last time this happened, it sucked, it was hard, it was awful. And our mind wants us to not have to experience challenging things and not to die. But life is hard sometimes, and you know what? We go through stuff, but great, we learn from things. So thank you, mind, for reminding me of that pain I experienced. But this isn't true for me right now. My reality in this moment, in this present moment is, things are okay. What have I learned? What can I implement from all that I've learned since the last time this happened, to then appease the mind and tell it, we'll be fine. We'll get it sorted. I've got the tools now. Take a day at a time and just really stay grounded in what is the truth of right now. So it's just presence. I hope that was helpful for you. If you really like this video, I'd love you to give it a thumbs up or a like or share it with somebody. I'm also creating a program called Change Your Mind, Change Your Life. It'll be out next year, that is really around how we can change the way that we think to change our life. It's powerful. If you're interested in that, drop me a message and I'll put you on a wait list for when more information for that comes out. Have an amazing day. I hope that was helpful. See you next time. Bye.